Usually during the team's bye week, you're worried about getting healthy, getting guys back into the fold. But uncharacteristically for the Ravens, they had a pretty exciting bye week with one specific wide receiver by the name of Diontae Johnson. So Keys, I want to get your thoughts on the things that came out about him and not wanting to go in against Philly and the subsequent suspension.
I mean, yeah, I was I mean, cut him. I mean, at this point, what you waiting for? I mean, it's not like you need him. You're not playing him. So what's the point? I mean, you still got enough depth at that position where if he's going, if this is what you're getting from him, not I can understand, if he's hurt, all right, whatever. If he still understands people, but to just blatantly refuse to go into the game when after Bateman got hurt, and you needed him at that time. What's the point, man? Like this guy, he's a clown. He's been a clown. It's the reason why Pittsburgh traded him to Carolina. And they didn't have a plan. When you trade one of your best receivers without a plan, then that should tell you something about him. Is a reason why Carolina probably gave him away for a stick of gum. So yeah, this is worthless at this point. Is a non. You cut him, you're not gonna get the compensatory pick. So that's the reason why they'll keep him on the team more than likely, because that's all they care about is draft picks. But this guy got to go. He's terrible. You refuse to go into the game.
Yeah, Nick, I posed the question, thoughts about what came out about Diontae not going in against Philly and the subsequent suspension.
Am I on mute? I'm good.
No, I'm good to go.
Yeah, man. First things first. Typically, and in this situation too, I feel like if somebody refuses to play, you gotta let them go. But at the same token, I'm pro player in this one. I don't think the Ravens did a great job of communicating with Diontae Johnson what the role for him was going to be. And I feel like if you go out and make that move, and I don't care, I'm not really interested in what Carolina got for Diontae Johnson. I mean, look at Carolina. That's all I need to say. But as far as that is, I mean, you have to communicate with grown men. I said it a couple minutes ago. This is not peewee football. These guys are playing for their careers, for their life, to feed their kids. He's in a contract year. He's 28 years old. You got to think about, just put your feet in his shoes. This man is a talented player, and he had to play with Kenny Pickett. He had to play with Mason Rudolph.
Mm-hmm.
He had to play with
Duck Hodges.
He had to play with Bryce Young when he was struggling. He had to play with Andy Dalton. That man just trying to get paid. He's looking around the league, all these other receivers. Everybody's getting a great deal. He's been saddled with mid after mid after mid after mid after mid. And after a while, he just wants a good situation so he can show his talent, get his bread. He don't got too many at 20 years old. You don't got too many contracts ahead of you. And then fast forward to the Ravens trade to him. You get to play with Lamar Jackson. You get to play on a team that's competing for postseason and whatnot. And at that point, if you bring me in, you kind of know what my situation is already. You know, I've never been nothing less than a wide receiver one. So at the very least, I want to start. Number two, I'm in a contract year. At the very least, I want similar amount of snaps that I was getting in Carolina, where I was getting peppered with targets, right? And also at the very least, I don't want to be insulted on a depth chart. My resume says that I'm the most accomplished receiver on this team. If you look at 17-game career averages, the only person that can really look at Diontae Johnson in his face and in his eyes is Zay Flowers. That's the only person that's putting up numbers on the pace that a Diontae Johnson has put up. At a certain point, your resume has to matter. If I'm in the NBA and I average 25 points per game and I've averaged that for 7 years, you can't look at me and tell me there's some other nigga that's going to play ahead of me that hasn't put that up and me not want to raise a stink about it. Now, quitting, not coming into the game, I think that's something to where as an organization, you have to have a heavy hand on. You can't allow that because, it sets a bad precedent, right? And you don't want that type of stuff in the locker room. But my point is, how do we let it get to that point to where he's refusing to get into a game? If you trade for him, Number one, you're supposed to give him a role that's commensurate to his talent. Don't be having him behind the depth chart behind Nelson Aguilar. And then when he refuses to come in the game, you're forced to play Nelson Aguilar. And what the fuck does he do? He drops nothing but passes. You wanted Diontae to come in when Bateman was hurt for a reason. But why is the only time you want me to come in when somebody gets hurt? And then the people that you put in suck. When I refuse to go in, right? I refuse to go in. No, y'all let the mid go take care of it. Let Aguilar and Tyler Wallace get open against man coverage. Go ahead. Let me see it done. It didn't happen. We lost the game because of it. Now, as an organization, you can't allow that to happen. As an organization, you also have to take a step back and was like, damn, how do we botch this to a point where he's not even bought in? You know, and John Harbaugh was talking about people earning snaps and, what do you mean earn? Yeah, I'm going to earn if you let me play. You know, just in there, Ravens media is in there releasing video montages of his 5 targets across
Yeah.
4 games. In 4 games, it's insulting. If you are human, you're gonna be like, yo, I can understand why he's mad. I'm kind of in the middle with it. I get the organization, and as far as us keeping him, look how petty we're being to him even now. If the dude doesn't want to be a Raven, let him go, let him fly away. We keeping him because we don't want him to go back to the Steelers, or we don't want him to go to a team that's competing so that they can know our playbook or have any intel on our playbook.
I don't want to lose that pick either.
Yeah, the pick is more important.
The 6th or 7th round pick. Oh my God, we won't we won't draft Devin Leary again.
That's like
a quarterback that we never needed.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we have to have that pick. That can't be the reason. At some point, we value his talent a little bit. We value his talent, but like, you know what? We don't really want to release him because we just saw what Nelson did. We saw drive 1 of the AFC Championship on 3rd down. We couldn't continue. Nelson dropped the pass.
And it's such a bad franchise that you suspend him. So not only do you suspend him, but then you don't
know what we want to do.
He can't practice. If somebody don't know the playbook, why he can't practice? Don't got to play. Like, I feel like he should be practicing. The reason that he's not practicing, I don't get that. I don't understand why you're not practicing. He's not suspended for nothing that he did outside of football. Let him play football, but he just can't play Sunday. He's still learning the playbook.
You either cut him or you give him a role commensurate to his talent and commensurate to his resume. It ain't no in the middle with this. If he don't want to be on the team, let him go. And if he does, and if you guys want to mend fences, actually mend the fences. But you're not going to sit there and convince me that, number one, Rashad Bateman has earned snaps. We give him chance after chance after chance after chance to fuck up. You're not going to tell me he's earned something. You're not going to tell me that Nelson Aguilar has earned something. It has to be more than he's a good guy, John Harbaugh. It has to be more than being a team player, John Harbaugh. Production has to matter too. And you can't tell me that Diontae can't produce. He didn't just come to the Ravens and forget how to play football.
That's the part. All this got to boil down to John Harbaugh for me. It almost remind me of like when them coaches in college wasn't recruiting one and dones. Like they was just so stuck in their ways. Like that's what Harbaugh remind me of. He's so stuck in his ways that if you ain't a Mr. Nice guy, you ain't out there kissing Make-A-Wish kids, like you can't play on this football team. Anything that go against the grain, anything that make people uncomfortable in Baltimore is a problem. And they find a way to shut you out, shut you down, make you look littler than you should. I mean, when we look at the Eagles game and I see Tyler Wallace, I see Nelson Aguilar, whoever else they put out there getting snaps over Diontae Johnson, somebody who gave the Ravens problems even when he was in Pittsburgh. I mean, he's a route technician. I mean, you even saw him in practice when they were doing the drill. Like the way he runs his routes was one-on-one compared to anybody else on this team. Maybe Zay. So to have that talent on the bench, that production on the bench, I think this all go back to Harbaugh. He can't relate to today's player. And I think at some point, the way the Ravens are as a franchise now, it discounts and it hampers this team. You can't look at what we put out as a product and say that Diontae Johnson can't help this football team. You just can't. This ain't even a Sammy Hammy pickup. Like this is better than that. It should be. So I mean, even the Florida connection, him, Lamar, Zay, it should come in and it should be an easy adjustment in my opinion. Nick talking about you having to earn. Why is he having to earn anything? He's a proven player in this football league.
And you traded
He's
for him.
made key catches. He's produced at a high level.
You
This
wanted
ain't
me.
James Prochet.
I didn't sign with y'all as a free agent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all
came and got
traded
me.
for my services.
Y'all
I
called
couldn't
me.
even pick
So
this
you won 'em.
destination.
Yeah, y'all called me.
I don't get
Yeah,
it.
I
You
think
don't
this
have a
all go
role
back
for
to
me.
coaching, man.
I agree. And part of it is also, if you notice, the players have not turned their back on Diontae Johnson. Zay Flowers said, "Yo, we're with him." You know, Rashard Bateman today said, "Yo, people are grown men. Like, you know, that has nothing to do with as far as being a distraction. He's not a distraction for us. Like, he's one of
Rashad
us."
said he understand both sides.
Yeah, I mean, Rashad has been one who's been number one, has used social media to speak out against the Ravens and how they kind of go about things, and he has had his hands slapped too, so much so that he had to kiss the ring this offseason and sit there and gallivant about his extension. Like you think he's that excited about that extension? St. Brown was drafted a couple rounds after him and got $100 million. He ain't that happy. He ain't that happy to be over here.
3 for 15, right? Yeah, come on.
So after the game, and this is after Diontae Johnson quit on the team. Speaking to reporters, Jackson said on Diontae Johnson, "We want him out there. He's a great receiver. We didn't get him from the Panthers for nothing. So as of right now, our quarterback is all in saying, yo, where he at? I just played a game against one of the best teams in the NFL, and I was waiting for Nelson Aguilar to get open. And actually, he did get open a couple of times. He just can't catch. I was waiting for Tyler to get open. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for Tyler. Where is Diontae Johnson?" So if he's asking that, and if he's saying we didn't get Diontae Johnson for nothing, why did it seem like we got him for nothing? We literally have him on the bench, 39 snaps in 4 games. How can you make an impact? How can you play enough to where somebody says, you know what, I think other options are better than him? We can't definitively say that because he only played 39 snaps.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with both of y'all points. I just think is a time and place, and even now the Ravens in the position they in, and 4 games left, and the focus is on Diontae Johnson. I just don't like it. Like, I think the focus need to be elsewhere. And you know, getting ready for the Giants, getting ready for a road game. You know, hopefully you just go in there and take care of business, then get ready for the Steelers. You know, who could come in here and win a division on your home field. It just seemed like coming out of the reporters action. It's not a focused team. You come out of like Scott said, you're supposed to be getting things in order in your bye week. We come out of the bye week, goddamn more chaos. It's not like it's ridiculous.
It's always self-induced, Keys. It's not like the chaos will just be showing up on our doorstep. We always force it. We always create it. Last year, we had fired Greg Roman. Not last year, the year before, we had fired Greg Roman across the whole facility. Like, all of this is self-inflicted. You trade for somebody. We lost in Kansas. We lost versus Kansas City last year because we ain't had nobody that consistently beat man coverage. They literally dared us. Beat us in man coverage, homie. And we couldn't block and beat us in man coverage. We couldn't block. We couldn't beat nobody in man coverage. We got somebody that historically in his career pretty good against man coverage. We lost to the Eagles. They was playing man coverage. So if we talking about being focused, well, we should be focused on doing things well that teams try to take away from us. And if we're trying to do things well that teams try to take away from us or teams try to force us to do, we should be trying to get him involved.
Yeah,
just a thought. Or go with Tylen. You know, John Harbaugh, you got it.
Something got to be done, though. It's just you can't. I mean, it's just lack of focus. I mean, but it's an 8-5 team, and you got 5 losses for a reason. I mean, you hear, but what's that thing they level against the coaches that don't got in college that don't got control of their program? Like that's what this is. Like it's just he should be the level 1 offender, because he don't got control of anything. Like you got your defense coordinator that you probably if he wasn't like his his protege, he any other team would fire him after the season. He would get 1 year that. You obviously not ready. You'll be fired. I understand. I found a mid-season, whatever. You might not want to do that, but after the season, be fired. He's not going to be fired. John Harbaugh going to come back again. The Ravens may get in the play. They will get in the play. The way it's set up, teams just too goddamn far back. So they're going to get the playoffs. Whether they
97% chance again.
Yeah, whether they win or not, whether they win a game or they don't win a game, but it's going to be status quo. That's the problem here. When you got other coaches in your division. I think John Harbaugh is the worst coach in the AFC North, and that's me. A lot of people would say Zach Taylor's terrible. Well, he might be, but
he might be.
he might be. But when you talk about Tomlin, we all know who Tomlin is, and Stefanski's a 2-time coach of the year. Like, it's a reason he's a 2-time coach of the year. He's a hell of a coach.
You give him a decent stretch.
Yeah.
I mean, they play hard for him.
All right.
They play hard for him.
I
with
told
3
you
wins.
if they fired John Harbaugh, I would take Kevin Stefanski in a heartbeat, dog. Like, he can
dial it up.
He's that good of a coach. So yeah, it's just like I said, we've been saying this for years now. And we're gonna talk about Justin Tucker the same thing. This Ravens team can't win the big game with this present John Harbaugh. Like, people don't understand. Like, he won that championship with Reed and Ray. That wasn't his players. They wasn't part of his culture. Ever since he developed his culture, he hasn't won shit.
Let me touch that, Keys. Pause. Wow. Let me touch on that. Let me touch on that subject.
Let me touch on that. Sound crazy too. So
let me discuss.
Yeah.
Further.
Let me pick up where you left off.
God damn. What was we talking about? Hold on.
I don't even know.
The culture, how I got lost, how it wasn't his culture that won the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
Ever since his culture been instilled, they ain't won.
So I saw a group of fans saying that, in 2012 there was adversity. In 2012 we had a rocky regular season and we were able to win road games en route to winning the Super Bowl. And I'd like to challenge everyone to, if you want to go down that road of comparing and contrasting, let's compare and contrast. I mean, 2012 you didn't have a shortage of Hall of Fame veterans. Obviously, about Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, but you had the Suggs. I think Nadas should be a Hall of Famer. You had people like Matt Burke on the offensive line. Obviously, he wasn't a lifelong Raven, but he came in and demanded respect and was a stalwart on the offensive line. You had Anquan, you had Yonda, you know what I mean? And then you had other players like the Flaccos, like the Ray Rices, so on and so forth. I don't remember if it was Kelly Gregg still on the team. You had some guys on the team that
you had a kicker that can make kicks.
You had the younger version of Justin Tucker, amongst others, right? And then now you look at the team; it's not veteran laden. You have Marlon, but is he your quintessential leader? He's more lead by example, right? Lamar Jackson, he's more lead by example. Who is your guy that? And I just shelled off 6-7 names off of memory, and it's 12 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, as of right now, though, can you name 6-7 people as far as leaders on this current Ravens team? Vets. That was a veteran heavy team in 2012 as well. You know what I mean? We have a lot of young players this year. I mentioned it before the season. This was kind of going to be our version of the Chiefs punt season last year. Right. Last year, the Chiefs really weren't supposed to win the Super Bowl, but they did anyway. They went young and they put a lot on Patrick Mahomes' shoulders, and he was able to take care of what he needed to take care of, along with the Chiefs defense as well. This year, similar strategy where we put a lot on Lamar's plate, and from game one has been Lamar save us. And you know what I mean? We're 8-5 with Lamar save us being our game plan. It shows that you can put your faith in him, but at the same token, I mean, to sit there and act like we have the veteran leadership we had 12 years ago, had the Hall of Fame veteran leadership we had 12 years ago, it's a fallacy. We don't. We have a bunch of young players that are coming into their own. With a lot of young players that are the first time in these roles that they're playing too. A lot of first-year starters or second-year starters. This ain't 2012, so stop talking about 12 years ago.
Y'all brought up Justin Tucker, who suited up for the Browns yesterday. Salute. Did y'all bring in any competition for him during the bye? Or we still rocking with Justin Tucker? Justin Tucker, we trust. Rural Farms Chicken.
Hug your neighbor's skull. Yeah. Hug your neighbor's skull. That's what we did. I mean, we found somebody, held their hand, recited in prayer, and we rejoiced with our neighbor and hugged our neighbor, because you know what? In the NFL, and especially in life as well, more hugs.
Yeah. Harbaugh said he spoke with Justin Tucker Skull and believes he's come back from the bye week in a good place.
Really? He spoke with him. Oh.
What I really want to say, we can't say on his camera.
With him. Yeah, all is well. All is well.
Because what did he do during the bar break that he come back that all of a sudden he's so taken care of and he's well now?
John had the magic talk. He had the magic talk.
The cookies. Them cookies.
Maybe him and John Harbaugh spent the break together. How about that?
Gave thanks over Royal Farms.
Yeah.
Like,
got a friendly size fountain drink.
Nah, man, I'm all for him.
Disgusting thing.
I'm all for him if he missed like a anything less than a 45-yarder and or any extra points. He got to go. You can't play him no more after that. You can't. And then New York we're gonna be swirling. So I hope he do miss like a 48-yarder and then like just get him out of here. But now you can't win. I'm not confident. My confidence level is like 3 with him taking him into the playoffs. So I couldn't. There's no point.
Yeah, I saw the ACC one on a 58-yarder this past weekend, and blistering cold. So Tucker.
I saw the Dolphins kicker can make 2 50-yarders to send it overtime, and like they tie the game up and send it over. Like it's weird what's going on.
I'm watching the Chiefs take people off the street and they kicking game-winning field goals.
They got Eric Reed kicking the ball off, and he's giving touchbacks.
Yeah,
get this guy Justin Tucker out of here, man. Seriously.
The thing about Justin as well, I mean, it's just again failure. It's failure to keep things at production, right? Like we're dealing John Harbaugh is dealing too much with his feelings, right? With Tylan Wallace and Nelson Aguilar, there's nothing logical that says they should be playing over Diontae when you traded for Diontae, right? It's all about the feelings, the camaraderie. He likes these guys as men, so he wants them to be in positions to succeed. I get that, but this is a football team. It's results based. Same with Justin Tucker. Like you have this relationship with Justin, right? And as a human, you love him and you hate to see him struggle. And he's having a hard time compartmentalizing the human aspect of his job versus the professional aspect of his job. And somebody said it, and I fully agree. If John Harbaugh wants to ride on Justin Tucker's coattails, cool. Let that be for good and for bad. So if Justin Tucker continues to struggle and you putting your job on the line for that, by all means, stick by him, right? And on the flip side, you know what I mean? You get a kudos if he turns it around. But if he don't, that's your job. Both of y'all should be out of the job. How long do you have to see ineptitude?
Did you see the Saints coach yesterday to their punter?
Oh my God!
During the game, laid them out.
Yeah, he did.
No hugs. There wasn't no hugs and kisses. That's
hell nah. That was not a nice conversation. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that right now. All right, let's confidence level going in the defense going further, rest of the season, playoffs. They have turned it around slightly. Do you think it's something that they can sustain going forward?
Yeah, I do. I mean, that's the crazy part about all this. The loss to the Eagles, the loss to y'all. Like the defense is playing really well. Like the defense has turned the corner ever since the Darius Watson has been inserted into that lineup, and bum ass Eddie Jackson has been cut, and bum ass Marcus Williams has been benched. It's been better. It's been what we expect. Now there's still all holes there, that's still like you said, but they're not giving up the touchdowns and they're not, it's communication here. It's not getting the defense getting blown over the top like that. Like is Marlon making a lot of still making his plays. Even Malik Harrison is playing better now. So I think the defense, maybe it just took this long to get it together, but we'll see. Because still they still situational, third down, situational, when the blitz, when not the blitz is still a mess. So we'll see. But I do have confidence only because we're working off of what I've seen the last 3 games. And what I've seen the last 3 games has been impressive. Anyway, a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, confidence level, I'd say it's a 6 or a 7. I mean, I don't think it'll be as bad as we saw. Also don't think this unit I think this unit can definitely be had. I think we've been fortunate to play some teams that kind of aided in how we how effective we've been on defense. I mean, obviously the Eagles, I don't think they have the most explosive offense like that to begin with. I think they are good at what they do, which is grinding out yards, running the ball. as far as explosiveness, I haven't seen that in their office in a long time. As far as passing game is concerned, um, obviously Saquon is explosive, but I'm just talking about in the passing game, to be honest. And that's kind of where we were getting threaded. Um, we've definitely made some adjustments. Darius, you mentioned Tre'Davious White mixing in some of the corners that Brandon Stevens hasn't seen the field as much. We've been toying with different pass rush packages as well. So I mean, Zach Orr is trying everything, and it's definitely been a unit that's improving. And I think they had a come to Jesus moment. Humphrey talked about in a practice session or film session where, it was like, yo, if you want to play, you're going to get out on the field. If you want to play well, you're going to get on the field. And if you don't, you're not. And as simple as that, we've seen some improvement, but albeit, it's the Steelers, the Chargers, and the Eagles, who, again, I don't profile those offenses as the most prolific aerial dynamic offenses. I think they're solid offenses. I think they're great teams, but I don't put them in the same level as I put the Bengals offense or something like that, or the Bills offense, right? Again, it's going to depend on matchups in the playoffs. I don't think they're going to be the unit that is going to be selling us down the river like they had been. I do think they're going to be able to compete in the playoffs, and the whole season I was talking about just make a few plays. We got to get back to turning the ball over. That's really what it is. That's the difference between us. That's the biggest difference between us this year and last year. We don't get any turnovers outside of Marlon Humphrey, and you're going to give up more yards if you're not turning the ball over, right? If the team can't get yards if they don't have possession of the ball. Right. So we're not turning nobody over, and it's causing issues elsewhere. So we got to get back to being ball hawks. And also, just in totality, we got to get back to playing a complete football game. We can't just have offense for most of the season. Then once the defense starts playing well, everything else falls apart. So we got to get right.
Yeah, I'm about to say, in addition to the turnovers, the penalties, that's been killing us too. So my confidence in the defense, though, is like a 7.5. As long as you can get the couple stops I think you're going to need in a football game, especially in January where the possessions are a lot less than normal. Game shortens. You're going to need some stops. You're going to need some sacks. You're going to need to be able to get off the field on 3rd and short. Got to hold off on them holding penalties on 3rd down, just staying on the field. So my confidence in them is like a 7. I do think they've looked better over the past couple weeks, but like Nick alluded to, if you can't play complimentary football, it won't mean much anywhere.
All right. Got one more question. Is the AFC North out of reach? Are we just locked into the wild card?
I mean, math, right? No, like mathematically, no. Like you can still catch them. Y'all have a tough game, and
who was them?
Beat the Giants.
Who's them?
Acknowledge us.
3 Ravens and 1 Steeler. So anyway, so yeah, you gotta no. So it's not out there, but do I think the Ravens catch them? No, I just don't think they end like I said, they end the season with the Bengals. Because even if the things work out where they got the same record, if the Ravens beat them, I think the Steelers will still have the tiebreaker because the division record will still be the same, and y'all got a way better conference record than us. So I think is. Yeah, so I mean, technically no, but yeah, I think that the Steelers gonna wrap up this division very soon.
Yeah, the Ravens are, right now, as we stand today, are 2 games back of Pittsburgh with a 19% chance of winning the division. So I have a 19% vote of confidence there, Skull. As far as the whole outlook, though, I mean, Keys mentioned it. Tiebreakers are what's going to do us, and you guys could lose the next 2 and still be ahead of us, which speaks to when people say things like, when we lose to the Raiders, we just give a game away to the Raiders. People online will say, "Oh my God, it's just week 2. Why are you tripping about losing to the Raiders? It's just week 2." Well, here we are, where a conference loss could come back to bite you, and that's just how it is. You got to win the games that you're supposed to win. So
They said they told us we overreacted after the Raiders after we went off for the Raiders.
I mean, a loss in conference to a team like the Raiders,
you know what it means.
You
if
know
it was an
it
NFC
down
team,
the line. And if we hadn't handled business in a few other games, it might really have bigger consequences when you're talking about the home fields versus the Chiefs or home field versus the Bills. But we're not even there yet because we didn't mess that up already. So
yeah, I would say. I mean, the way we constructed, I historically I like us on the road anyway. Keep us out of Baltimore in January. I'm cool with us going on the road.
Damn.
For real. Okay. That's where I'm at with it. But I was going to ask y'all, did y'all see that? Did you see that? I guess that question that Jeff Zreback asked John Harbaugh earlier today.
What he asked?
Yeah. He said he asked him whether he was concerned about the player buy-in, given there's been 3 instances of vets disenchanted with their roles. Harbaugh said he's not, believes guys are working hard and in a good place. And then Jeff had alluded to saying that initially Harbaugh thought he was talking about the frustrations in the wide receiver room. So it just like, to me, it just goes back to like, are you even connected to your team? What 3 wide receivers did you have issues with?
Bateman had something on his fake Instagram last week where he was talking about his role. So talking about his roles, you know what I mean? And Zay, he's shown public frustrations like at post plays, jumping up and down, mad. They, and to probably Jeff's point, that's probably not the only frustrations. You had Marcus Williams, you had
Eddie I think he's talking about Marcus Williams, Eddie, the vets. That's what I think he was getting.
You had other people.
Zay and them still young.
It's a lot of people not knowledgeable of what their role and contribution should be on a team, and that's the main thing that John should be doing, being that he's not Andy Reid. He's not Mike Tomlin. He's not Bill Belichick. He ain't drawing nothing up on any side of the football. Can't even draw you up good special teams. Can't get you an onside kick. Punt coverage ain't the best. You know what I mean?
This the same guy that challenged the replay assist. This guy challenged replay assist.
The one thing he could do is be an expert communicator.
Yeah,
that's the one thing he could be, but he's not even that.
And Sco, you saw Hard Knocks?
Saw bits and pieces, yeah.
So I don't know if it's just the way they produced it, but the fact that like it seemed like Tomlin was in on every meeting. Like,
yes,
with special teams, defense.
That was the biggest takeaway.
He meeting with Minka 1-on-1. Like it's just like that.
Minka was in the meeting with the whole coaching staff by herself.
Yeah, like that told me something. Like,
yeah,
that said a lot. And I'm just looking at that like. And maybe they just don't show that to John, but even
it don't.
It don't.
To that point,
we not trying to no benefit of no doubts on this one.
When Keys went through the hierarchy of coaches in the AFC North, I think Hard Knocks, just from one episode, they really displayed.
They showed it
really well.
Yo, they talk football.
Harbaugh was talking,
and Tomlin talk football.
Yeah, Harbaugh was talking, and it was like, yo, I can see why nobody buys in. I didn't believe a fucking word he said.
He a short salesman.
He's out there. Yo, it's so bad. He out there in the cold. We know AFC North gets cold. He's outside in the cold, and the guy's like, "Are you cold?" He's like, "Hell yeah, I'm cold. You want me to go get you another jacket?" Yo, what?
Yeah.
Little shit like that where it's like, yo, you supposed to be the leader. Mike Tomlin out there, Black Air Forces, he's clapping it up. No matter, and cold.
Harbaugh got
how long you been in Baltimore?
His preparation with Harbaugh, like even him talking to Herbig, like they brought Zeus here for y'all. Like he's getting them ready for that from Tuesday on. Like he's telling them you gonna beat Zeus all week, and then once he do Sunday, he beat him. Like he said, that's coaching.
They went out and got Zeus because Alec Highsmith whooped their last left tackle's ass. Know what you dealing with. Like you said, he offensive meetings, defensive meetings, special teams.
But think about that
1-on-1. Yeah.
Think about that, Sco. The fact that your coach is in on every meeting, and then on the flip side, look at the criticisms we've had of John over the past several years. When we stop running the ball, right? In a pressure pack situation, we'll stop running the ball or we'll abandon the things that we do most. Is John the person that steps in and intervenes at any point? Maybe he doesn't intervene because he's not the guy that's in every single meeting paying attention to every single detail. At this point, he's been so hands off that he believes his best opportunity is to trust what the offensive coordinator is telling him, or trusting what the defensive coordinator is telling him. He's not coach enough to be locked in on every single detail and say, oh, wait, this don't look right. Let's do this. He's not locked in enough.
Yeah,
to
I mean,
that.
it just like to your point, Keith, like about the meat. It's like same thing with your kids. Like you instill things in your kids, you tell them, you encourage your kids, and when they come home with A's, you're not surprised. What do you tell them on the sideline? I'm not surprised. Like this, I instilled. This is what I expect from you. This is like you got, and that's not what we give them Harbaugh. You don't get that. Like you got, like you said. I think you said
when they go for Lamar. Wow.
Nick said it earlier. It's like, nobody knows what the expectation is. Like Holmland tell him, like, I expect you to go out there and beat Zeus. This is what we bought. This is why you here. I'm still this confidence in you. That's all. It's still confidence in your players, man. We don't get that. You don't get that from Harbaugh.
One more point before we move on. Him talking about our wide receiver 2 situation, which was highly criticized, especially by me. It still needs to be fixed, but he goes out there after Van Jefferson gets a touchdown and Mike Williams makes a play and Scotty Miller. He goes, look, I've always had confidence in those guys. That's what I expect them to do. That's why they're here. That's why I make decisions. Stop second guessing me. Hey, cool. All right, cool. That's the second time you reflect on me.
Every call he making is right this year, so he can talk.
That's the second time you reflect on me. When Russ went out there and did that, you said that's why I get paid the big bucks. Hey,
and look at the other guy and his decisions. Are they the right ones?
It's cold.
Yo, if y'all get a chance, watch it, really, because Harbaugh ain't say nothing the whole Eagles game. But come on, Tuck.
I told y'all the situation is like, I think I texted you. It's like the water boy, where he like John Harbaugh is the water boy coach. And Tomlin is the other coach from the big school. Remember he was calling with the heels on and the broken phone and shit. That's Harbaugh. He the water boy coach.
Now
scared.